You will come out of this period much better than you were. Those are the words that you probably heard from your parents when you were moving through something really horrible in your life, and they're trying to tell you that it will be okay eventually and you'll begin to understand it. Or it's something that somebody might say to you after you've been through a really difficult thing in your life, no matter what it might have been. And they know somehow that moving through that is going to be beneficial for you. It would make your life better. And I can say that is always true because where we become better is in our consciousness. It all doesn't matter what might have happened to us or what we've experienced. It's how do we choose to think about it? How do we choose to perceive it? Because everything that we experience in our lives is through our perception, which we do through our consciousness, how we see ourselves, how we've learned to see ourselves, what we've developed within us, and every single person does that. And it's a very individual thing, meaning no one has your consciousness. We are each individuals in that way. But those are also the words that I heard on this date on August the 9th of 2020. And I was talking to my members in my group last night, and I was just showing them some of my messages because this is something that I had never done before, that I would never do, because I had to come to understand it. We experience ourselves in our consciousness, and consciousness it exists everywhere. And where does it come from? And how do we connect to something greater than ourselves, to source or to God or to whatever it might be? Everything is through our consciousness, and we will perceive it in different ways. And sometimes it's not logical. And you come to understand that when we look at scientists who have come before, and Einstein will tell you that your imagination is where everything is. But when we can't trust that imagination, how can we create anything new within ourselves or in our world? And that's what I'm talking about. So I'm going to read that message to you because you'll get a lot out of it, and then it will. I'm going to tell the entire story because I was moving through it with my members last night, and I said, I'm going to be a little more forthcoming here because it's going to be helpful. And this message kind of reveals that. And it's this. August 9th, 2020, you will come out of this period much better than you were. We know those words may not be comforting for many, but we will do our best to make it so. It took so long for Roger to allow this message to come through for reasons you might not have imagined. Roger thought that his optimistic view might be uncomfortable to some, and then we told him false humility is never helpful. We led Roger to listen to many videos this morning, and many of them he knew he heard before, but today they made more sense. You each expand in your consciousness throughout this lifetime, and even others, which is not necessary for you to accept or understand now. You can witness this phenomenon in your current life. However, as Roger did, which is why he was so optimistic as his life experience informed him as to what is occurring in the world. You evolve individually and then as a whole. You are doing this now. We have said that when you do your job, you would be happy, fulfilled, and abundant. When you have lived your life denying you hold power or ability, it is not so easy to instantly summon it. So you require a bit of linear time. We led Roger back to a portion of a message that only makes sense fully today. We will leave it here as much of you will experience this either now or later, but it is why this period is helpful for you and how we know you will be fine and come out better. There is no greater feeling and experience than finding what you feel you were destined to do in your life. And there is no feeling worse than also to know you are the only one who does not believe this, and you are the only one preventing you from having all you desire. Finally, that quote makes sense to Roger, and today it will for those with whom he is currently working, and you know who you are. And that's probably that last line was meant for members in my program, obviously, because they do know. And when I tell people that I had received all of this information and it could change anyone's life, it's hard for people to believe that because it doesn't make sense because we are all connected to consciousness, to source. I just happen to tap into it in a different way. And in a channeling session many years ago, it came through that what my purpose in this world was to bring together science, spirituality, and human development. And I've actually done all of those because I've developed from in ways that didn't make sense to so many. And this is why I keep saying I'm 73 because people say that doesn't really make sense. It does when you understand who you are and you do your job. Your job is owning who you are. Your job is becoming willing to believe in your dream. Because, see, everyone has one. And so, my job, as that message was saying, was to help others understand that. And then the more people who understand that and accept that, they start to live these really great lives. And then we have a very different world. That's why it was talking about the world. We don't live forever and we make a difference while we're here. And we have different roles we were meant to live and to play. I didn't know that I was going to have this information, that I was going to bring in this philosophy. And let me tell you why. Because in 2021 is when it was revealed to me what this was, that our world would be changing. We would be going through a lot of different things that we may not fully understand, like wars and division and all of that. But if we decide to love ourselves and do what we came to do, then we change everything. And that's the work that I was given. And so, I was also talking about the fact that I haven't gone into much of the mind body healing. I did talked about it a little bit yesterday, but I'm going to do a lot more of that because it's a connection. When you connect to who you are, your authentic self, things change in your brain. This is why the science in what I do became very important. You start to understand neuroscience. You start to understand how you are programmed or how you keep programming yourself because that's what we do. And I was doing that as well. And that's why the message, that line about false humility, I've had a lot of it. Because I also don't want, I care so much about everyone because I don't like people suffering. And I know that you don't have to. I can say that because I've gone through it all. And so I have put together all of these things that can have people move through this period where they really love themselves and become abundant and happy. And then we pass that on to the world. That's how it works. There's no other way that we are creating our lives or the world. And that's the science of it all as well, which is why I've done all the videos recently talking about how creation happens. And I did one called The Science of Fulfillment, because everybody becomes fulfilled in their lives when they take that step into owning who they are. And that's why I say this work is an ascension guide. And that's what happens because we all ascend in different ways or evolve or expand or whatever term makes sense to you, but we become more only if we are willing. And that's what the last line meant as well as the last paragraph that I received so long ago. We are the only ones who are preventing ourselves from having everything that we want because we know the way to get there. It's about moving through all the restrictions and the blockages and everything that we've lived or the trauma we've experienced, whatever it is, we can still change it because we change it in our consciousness and then we heal. And that's what I've experienced. And that's what this work does. And the more of us who do that, then we have a very different world as well. And we have a little bit of time of moving through that. So this is why I'm expanding everything that I'm doing because we need to take another step. And this afternoon, I'm rebranding everything. We're having a meeting about that, which I'm very excited because I will be telling the full story. And I thought this is going to be finally my TED Talk, where I thought I didn't understand what I was doing all these years. And I thought, I might be a little insane, but then my life begins to make sense. And then I find my life purpose. That's true for everyone. Absolutely true. When we can move through those blockages, love who we are, then we found our purpose and then we live it and have the lives we're meant to have. And that's what I'm doing now. And also, it is never too late. You can never give up on your dream. I'm just saying this because I know a lot of people do that, and you might be thinking of that now. Don't. It's there. I started working on this. I've had many, many other careers and things, and started working on this many years ago. Never give up on who you can become. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe if this is your first time here and share it with others. I'll see you guys soon.